Hello everyone, I'm Morali, and today I want to talk about my last elite specialization speculation for Guild Wars End of Dragons. The last one will be for the engineer, which I have named the Pyrotechnic. Now, before we get into the weapons and all those things, I want to kind of talk about that. Now, the Pyrotechnic I've based off of an actual pyrotechnician as someone that deals with fireworks. And this is what the whole elite specialization will be about. It'll be about fireworks and festival themed stuff. It'll be condition damage stuff, and that's pretty much what it revolves around. Alright, let's get into that. So the weapon set would be mace and mace. So main hand mace, offhand mace, and that is based off of the Taiko festival drums that they use for Japanese festivals. And so I'm kind of trying to tie it into how in Cantha they celebrate the Chinese New Year, or we as players really celebrate it, but it was always celebrated in Cantha when we had it in Guild Wars 1, and it's something that deals with a lot of fireworks and a lot of festival stuff. And so for the weapon skills, we'd get condition based damage, and maybe we could have a skill that summons a big drum maybe, and it's like this holographic drum or something, and it inflicts a ton of damage and a lot of different conditions. Again, going into the theme of condition-based stuff, and for the mechanic, we would have your F1 through 3 skills would become fireworks, and each of them would inflict different conditions. And now, opposite to what the overheat mechanic was for the Hollowsmith, we would have also a bar that charges over time as you are in battle, and the higher the bar is, the more damage your skills will do. So you want to wait until it is fully charged. Once it's fully charged, you can do a huge ability that does massive damage and inflicts, a lot of stacks of whatever condition. Each F skill ability would give you different conditions. So you could have F1 inflict poison, you could have F2 inflict chill, you could have F3 inflict burning, and you could have different tiers. So if the bar is only charged up to 50%, then maybe it only does 1 stack of this condition. If it's charged up to 75%, it could do 2 stacks or maybe 3 stacks. And once it's charged to 100%, it could do 5 stacks of the condition, but do it also in an AoE. So it rewards you for waiting and actually, not using your ability right away. And that's kind of reverse to how the overheat mechanic worked, because with the overheat mechanic, you didn't want it to go all the way to the top, and you want it to stop before you got to that point. So I think giving it the extra boost and actually having you maybe wait to actually get to the very top instead of just kind of using it when it's not fully charged, which wouldn't do that much of the effect, it wouldn't do that much damage. So you kind of have that play where you have to be smart about your little charge mechanic that you have there. And for utility skills, you would gain access to physical skills. Now these physical skills wouldn't be like how the warrior has, where you can kick or ram someone, but it would be maybe one skill would be a remote controlled firework grenade, like a popper almost, that explodes. You kind of throw it and you get like a flip over skill, and it explodes once you use that flip over skill. So it kind of gives you that interesting, it's kind of like a fireworks thing that goes on there. And another skill could be maybe a rocket that does random conditions, maybe poison, bleed, and burning, or chill, or something like that. And it just kind of does it randomly, and you don't get to pick it. It just picks out one random condition out of a set of 3 or something like that. So you kind of have to gamble with it and see what you're getting out of it. And then maybe another skill would be that fires multiple rockets in a quick succession, kind of how the Frostbolt 2 works, and each one applies like 1 stack of burning or something like that. So by the end of it, if it fires like 5 times, you have like 5 stacks of burning. If they are only 1 second, it's not huge, but it could be a pretty good skill. And then I'm thinking for an elite skill, what would be interesting would be this massive bomb that explodes after a certain time, and you get that like ticking sound. And I'm kind of thinking of how like Zelda: A Link to the Past had that giant bomb that you could get, and you know, it made this huge explosion. So I'm kind of thinking of that's what it could look like, that's what it could be, you know, and it could just do a lot of different conditions all at once. You know, you have a long recharge on a lot of the elite skills, so they could put a long recharge on it, you know, and that's something that you could just maybe throw. Even you kind of throw the bomb and it just kind of sits there and then explodes in a team fight, you know, maybe creating a bunch of chaos because, you know, it has this huge effect and it's applying all these different conditions all at once, so that even people that have a lot of condition cleanse, you know, I'm thinking PvP here, so even that people that have a lot of condition cleanse might not necessarily be able to cleanse all of it at once, you know, and maybe that will help your teammates because someone was already down in the enemy team and now the teammates of the enemy are trying to revive him, but you're dropping the bomb and it explodes on them. And I think it would be really fun. And I think for traits, we could have something that deals maybe with the production bar of the fireworks. Maybe that it increases how, like, you're in production, if maybe you're getting more damage, or if you're actually hitting for more damage. Maybe something like that could just kind of play around the production bar for your fireworks. The problem that I find with the engineer is, from what I can tell, I don't play a lot of engineer, but from what I can see is that they have very diverse traits already, and they have a lot of traits that hit a lot of different things already. So it just kind of, it's really hard to actually find something that's new that we don't have yet, because you can make somewhat of a healer, you can make a tank with it, you can do damage, both condition and regular damage. So you have a lot of options as it is already. They might not be meta, you know, but they're still there, those options that you have in the different playstyles, especially open world, because it doesn't really matter what you have in open world. So, but I think just kind of giving it something that's just fun to play. I think it would be really fun to have that. And you know, I look at how the other elite specializations were, and with the Hollowsmith we had something that was technologically advanced, and with the Scrapper we had something that wasn't really technologically advanced, because the actual lore of a scrapper is that, you know, you're just kind of scrapping together pieces and things like that. So I was trying to find something that could kind of fit flare wise, and I'm thinking having something that deals with, you know, Cantha being this old, really old region, and that's kind of, you know, has all these traditions and things like that, having the festivals and those things kind of bind into it. And I kind of thought about how would I implement something like this for the engineer, and I actually got thinking about how in Mulan they use those rockets to fight the enemies, and I thought that would be interesting because, you know, it has to do with like gunpowder and things like that, and that's kind of engineering, you know, you have to put together the rockets and stuff like that. They don't actually do that in Mulan, but I thought it would be really interesting to use something like rockets, because we're talking about Asian culture, and Asian culture has a lot to do with their festivals and a lot to do with their fireworks, you know, Chinese fireworks or this big thing. So I kind of wanted to bind that into this class and make it something really fun and unique, and they could go a lot of different ways with something like this. But I think having it based on conditions, and we already have rockets that we use in game for the festivals and things like that, and they already have different colors. There's a blue one, there's a red one, there's a green one, so they could maybe even reuse those assets and actually have them do damage, you know, and apply those different conditions. You know, the green rocket could do poison, and the red rocket could do burning or bleeding or something. So there's different options, but that's what I came up with. Again, I'm not a professional when it comes to playing the engineer. It was something that it's one of the classes that I just don't ever play, but I thought that was pretty fun to come up with that. So yeah, and I think that's it for my elite specializations. I will be doing one more video to kind of wrap up the whole thing and kind of talk about all of them in conjunction with each other, and that will be my wrap up video, and that will hopefully come out soon. And yeah, and then I will start on some other videos that I've planned. But yes, that's all I have for you guys today, and if you'd like to leave a comment and let me know what you think, I would really appreciate it. So thank you guys, and see you next time.